Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Howdy, everyone. We're here for episode 410 of the Massenomics podcast. If you don't know by now, we are the lifting podcast about nothing. The lifting podcast about nothing, about Stained, about chicken bakes, about cool beans, about being strong, being silly, and about those twins. It's always about those twins. My name's Tanner.
And my name's Tommy, and I love making quarterbacks cry, being one of the guys, and a big fridge full of beer.
With the twins.
Oh, there it is.
Hit them with it.
You know me, I just love being one of the guys. Nothing more than that. Just a real guy's guy.
Making quarterbacks cry.
And
quarterbacks eating dirt.
And a big fridge full of beer. Wouldn't that be funny if the fridge did that part? The football player? Or did he?
Oh,
you'll have to watch the commercial to find out for sure.
The fridge Perry. Yeah.
I am sad to say though that that does conclude the entire lyrics of all of the twin songs that took us through every verse from the last 6, 7 weeks, 8 weeks.
Encore.
Bring it back. 8 more weeks. You got to give the people what they want.
I'll say this. Those writers hated quarterbacks, didn't they?
Yep.
They did not like quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks in the early 2000s, they were treated a little different than they're treated today.
Yeah. You're just making them eat dirt.
Yeah.
I love it when they eat dirt.
Just taking it to them. Now you got to protect them a little more. You got to baby them a little bit.
Yeah, we really gave the quarterbacks the business.
So
back
you know what would be
we?
the ultimate now, Tanner? What would really feel like we were in on something is if this is Super Bowl weekend here. This is coming out just after the Super Bowl.
We got to do Super Bowl picks too.
If there was somehow a return to this commercial this Super Bowl weekend. Now wouldn't it really feel like we were in on something there?
That would be they should bring back the twins.
That would blow people's minds. If that commercial came on, people would just that would be the most talked about commercial of the entire Super Bowl, hands down. Yeah. They wouldn't even have to do anything different. Just rerun the square, because it's from back in the day, rerun the square, shitty looking, grainy commercial. Like actually do this. Pull it right off of YouTube. Just pull the YouTube one off. Don't even make it look good. Put it on there and people be like, what did I just watch? What was that?
I think that's the thing. Like, just straight up, I actually don't know why this isn't a thing. Just bring back, like what you said, not even
do it,
not remake it, but just straight up play an old ass commercial.
People want to. It was popular to get after Bud Light for being this liberal beer and to boycott them. Coors Light could take it to the
frog.
Right. They could take it to the other extreme and bring back the twins and be like, no, this is just the most in your face macho man in like a 90 cents beer commercial, and it would be hilarious. It would be amazing.
That would be amazing. You know what else is amazing? The Strength Co. It's the plates that we use at Massenomics Gym. I love to go to them. They're Olympic meaning 2-inch barbell plates that are made in America, veteran-owned company by our friend Big Grant over at the Strength Co. And they've got their plates in all sizes. You can go down to the 1.25s of then getting into the more standard size of 2.5, 5, 10, 25, 35s, of course, 45s, and the Hondus. One of my personal favorites of all of them is the Hondus. And they're black, E-coated, smooth, easy to grip. They're the best damn plates that are out there. We've got
they actually
some YouTube videos coming up where we talk about plates and stuff, but they
actually won the Oscar for best plates ever made ever.
They won an award for best plates ever made. So check them out at thestrength.co.
And this episode is also brought to you by Bearfoot Shoes. Most shoes harm your mobility by over-restricting your foot's natural movement. Barefoot shoes are designed with minimal restrictions so your feet can move the way they're supposed to. Move with more strength and confidence in every step. Barefoot Shoes was founded by Chris Duffin, who attributes proper foot biomechanics as foundational to his success in squatting and deadlifting over 1,000 pounds for reps. He helped create the company to provide a minimalist shoe that can be worn for anything from deadlifts to walking your dog. Go to www.barefoot.store to check out the best minimalist shoes available. And while you're there, make sure to use code Massenomics to save 10% on your next order. That's barefoot.store. Code Massenomics will save you 10%. Thank you, Barefoot Shoes.
Well, thanks, Barefoot. Okay, we got all kinds of good stuff to talk about this week. Sack segment, what's in the can, a true what's in the can segment here. We're going to talk maybe some trips that we have coming up. We might talk some influencers, some powerlifting talk even. We're going to get Big Shane on here to do a fun little guest interview after a little bit. What do we want to do first, Tommy? Is there anything that's really... Do we need to do a can first?
Well, or should we do, because it is fresh on people's minds, should we get our Super Bowl picks out of the way right now?
Oh, yeah, let's do
Because it would
Super
have
Bowl
just
picks.
happened by the time people are hearing this.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do our Super Bowl picks so people can know.
So the Super Bowl is
what did we
obviously
get right,
the
what did we
Ravens
get
and the
wrong.
Lions, right?
Yes. Yep, that's... I wish. I wish it was. Now, what do we got? The 49ers, of course, for the 8th time, and then
The Chiefs
for also
8th
like
time,
the
10th time, 20th time.
Yeah, right.
Oh, who is
I just want to see some quarterbacks eat dirt.
Dude,
And
that's all
that would
I
make
want.
me happy. Yeah.
That's all I want. Maybe that and some twins,
pom-poms
maybe.
and short skirts.
That's all a guy
Prediction.
wants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I honestly don't even really care about this one much at all. I really
I
don't.
can't imagine which team winning would make me any bit
That's
happy.
what I'm trying. That's what I was just thinking. Like, what would make me less sad to see one win?
Yeah.
I don't know. Part of me is getting tired of Patrick Mahomes, so I'd want the 40. Maybe because Brock Purdy is people think of him as this
right.
shitty quarterback. Maybe he's the underdog of the whole thing. Maybe that's why I want. Maybe that's why I want the Niners to win.
I probably lean towards the Niners myself for the same reasons, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have an original thought on that you didn't mention, so I would just say the same. And I don't know, I guess everyone's all fired up about the Taylor Swift thing. I think it
Again,
makes it interesting. I'm curious to see what
it blows my mind that
coverage is.
people actually care about that.
Yeah. That's
God.
that's. I guess I don't care about who wins, though. I just don't care. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really care either. I actually do is the most generic thing. I hope it's at least a decent game,
Yeah. I just want the guys to have fun.
That's all I want. And maybe one or two quarterbacks to eat some dirt. That's all I want to see.
Maybe the real Super Bowl was the quarterbacks that ate dirt along the way.
Everyone that ate a lot of dirt eating all the way up to here. They ate all the dirt so that we could play this game. And here we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, how crazy is it that we get done with those leading into the Super Bowl, though? Such a football themed song, and it ends at the Super Bowl.
We are.
End of an era.
Yeah, it is.
They got to have
some. Never mention.
There's got to be some unreleased tapes somewhere sitting around of commercials that
the twins
that never made it out.
That ended on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, I actually did. Did I tell you I read an article about the guys that wrote the ad and wrote the song? I read it too. Did you? We should send them a DM. Reach out to those guys. see if we
I think someone posted it in the Discord.
Oh, did
they? Yeah, because the guys were driving out, like they're basically driving in their car on the way to a thing, and they're like, "Hey, what if?"
And it's based on a country song because there's some country song that was I like this. And, Oh, okay. I thought maybe you would know.
I love. Yeah. I did. Yeah, it was good. It was an interesting article.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, it was.
Should we dive into a
let's do it.
I'm curious.
Let's do it.
So I've got. I have the note. I don't think you have the note on this one.
Okay, good. I was gonna say I don't have any context to this at all.
Okay, Big Tanner and Big Tommy. I'm sorry if this isn't up your flavor alley, but you'll see why we had to send it. Brewed in Arizona. Well, wait a second. I don't know if I'll read the rest of this yet. We better drink it first. So it's big from Big Toby.
All right.
Down in Arizona, brewed in Arizona.
Did you
I don't know
put this in the bubble wrap with the koozie on it, or?
I did. I think it came in bubble wrap, and I think I put that on there just to like have a shroud of mystery.
Okay.
Around. No, I put that koozie in it just so we couldn't obviously see the name of it. So I've never looked at this. So is this a twist off?
I thought it was a pry off. Do you got a bottle?
I've got one.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
I'll wait.
Did you pass me one?
Yeah. Here you go. I'll wait for you until you're ready for the.
Got it.
For the plunge.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh. It's a brewski, huh?
Yeah, it's something. Is it like a stout or something? Maybe a little slightly darker, maybe?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say, based on, I don't know this to be true, but do you think it's like coffee adjacent in any way?
Well, that's what makes me think it's a stout of some kind, because it has that like slight dark roast taste to it, but it's not very overpowering. It's fairly light still.
I like it, actually. Yeah. This is a good brewski.
I think it's good and refreshing. It kind of reminds me of like a Shiner Bock or a Fat Tire sort of.
Yeah. I like Shiner Bock. I like Fat Tire too, actually. And I like this. I guess maybe those are just beers that I like. Maybe that's what I like, and I don't even know that. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm finding.
It's just taken you all these years to actually pin it down.
Should we? Oh, what do you give it first before we? Even...
For this type of beer, I mean, I find this totally refreshing. So this is a 3.5, 4 for me all day.
Yeah, it's a 3.5, I think, for sure. Should we check it out and see what it is here?
Let's see.
Yeah. So he had said,
cool beans, KU.
And cool with
an umlaut.
The U,
yes.
The U has the umlaut.
Yes, KU umlaut, L beans.
Yeah.
Or
And
HL
this is
beans.
from Big Toby in Arizona.
Vanilla coffee porter.
Yeah. Tall, dark, handsome, just like us.
Speaking my language.
Yeah, he said brewed in Arizona. Cool Beans gets at least 4 JDs from Big Dan and myself. So Big Dan, fellow supporting member. I think 4 is. They're saying it's 4 on their scale. I think 4 is a completely reasonable rating.
Oh, I 100% understand. Yeah, I get that.
This is good.
Vanilla coffee porter. Also, Tanner, of note, 8.2%. So a little alcohol in this guy.
We partying tonight. Hey.
Actually, that reminds me. I haven't told you this. We're going to have to do some major podcasting in like a week or two here, because I'm actually going to be going down to Arizona the week before the Arnold. You know, if that wasn't busy enough, I figured, we'll just put a vacation in front of the Arnold to really add to my stress levels of being gone. So
I was going to go to Florida next week, but my family's still going to go, but I think I'm going to stay home. So I'm going to sit out this particular rendezvous.
Some quality me time, huh?
That's I'm going to hopefully get some quality mechanic time on the 69 C10.
Did you see that post I sent you? There's another guy in town.
Oh, yeah. Who
C10.
is that?
That's our old buddy. Do you know Eric Bacon? Not related to Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, but he's probably not separated by more than 7 years.
Probably not. Good guy. I've done work for him before. He knows a lot about cars. He has his own Jerry's Dent Repair. He runs Jerry's Dent Repair.
Oh, okay. Judging by his page as browsing through it, I would assume this guy knows far more about vehicles than I do, based on his like ground up complete restoration.
Remember when I had my boat? Remember? Everyone came. He would always come out on my boat with me. We'd always go wakeboarding together. Really nice guy though.
Yeah.
If you ever, he would be the one to talk to if you ever need a local guy to.
I could tell just by even looking that he definitely had some cool looking stuff going on there that intrigued me for sure. And it seemed like he definitely knew his shit way more than me.
I think he told me. I think because he's like the body work guy. He knows all that. I think he said his dad does a lot of the like heavy mechanic stuff in there. But I'm sure he.
But yeah, they're putting in engines and taking out
they're down to the frame.
Yeah. So
it said. I'm like, I didn't even know this was a C10. Like, there was nothing to look at hardly in some of the pictures, and then I saw the hashtag, and I'm like, Tanner would like this.
Yeah, I was glad. I spent a decent bit of time looking through his page. I'm like, oh yeah, and I was like, how many vehicles does this guy have? And then I got to the assumption that he probably doesn't keep a lot of these. Are
he's
like
got a shop where
right. He had cool stuff. I have done a lot of mechanic projects, but that is what I'm hoping to. Next week, I'll really be able to tear into some stuff that I haven't had the time to take on.
Is this quality of life things, or is this actually fixing things?
All of the above, honestly. Like a lot of it's just like fixing things that are okay
that you
like,
could
that
live
have been
with.
Band-Aided. Yeah, that you could live with, but like making it more reliable is like kind of what I've been
you don't have to
doing,
put a quart of oil in it every day.
Right. That is kind of the sort of the thing. Like I've and some of it is just cosmetic, just making certain things look cooler. Like under the hood is looking a lot cooler than it had before.
I've been shiny stuff and some cleaned up stuff.
I've been like changed valve covers to some kind of cool valve covers. Changed the air cleaner
just
to a cool air
flames and skulls
cleaner.
on everything.
Yeah,
right?
flames and skulls on everything. I changed heater hoses to some cool stainless steel hoses.
What were they before?
They're just like rubber hose,
okay.
Black rubber hose that you would typically see there, and those look kind of cool. I put in a new fuel sending unit in the gas tank because the gas gauge didn't work, and
Nice
now
to have a working gas gauge.
Yeah, it was like that was a happy moment. Like I'm like the gas gauge doesn't work. I diagnosed the problem, ordered the right parts. Took the seat out, got to the gas tank, put the new fuel sending unit in. Put it all back together, and it worked. And I'm like, I really fixed that thing.
Then you went on Google
and
opened a business, Tanner's Restoration Garage, right then.
Yes, and I'm like, I can do this one project for you. I changed the ignition in it because that was bad. The ignition switch was bad. Spark plug wires, that's a very easy thing. I gotta run new park brake cables. That's something I'm taking on.
Because why?
And then the park brake is not currently hooked up. The park brake is a mechanical brake that hooks into the rear drum brakes, and right now it doesn't go into there. The cables do not. The cables that are there don't work. I got a whole new cable system. And
is there like a known problem with that, or do they just never hook them up?
They get rusty and shitty and old after a while, and like he had completely taken them out of the drum brake. Like they weren't hooked up to even anything because they weren't working.
That reminds me, my first ever vehicle, actually the first vehicle I ever drove was like a 90, I don't even know the year, maybe like a 92 Mercury Capri. It would have been, It would have maybe been the Mercury equivalent of a Miata. Just very tiny. The back seat was non-existent. It was a convertible though, just a tiny little car. I drove that car for maybe 6 months, and then being in South Dakota, that's not a good winter car. So my dad bought me, it was an 88 Suburban, and it was all brown.
Yeah.
It had like 3 different tones of brown.
That would have been a big ass vehicle.
Oh, it was huge. Like, who's getting this as their first? And then on top of being a Suburban, it was a 2-wheel drive one.
Wow.
It was, that thing just could not get around in the wintertime at all. But shortly after I had it, it was one of the first times it snowed. I thought I was stuck. I thought it couldn't go anywhere, but the drum brake for the like something on the parking brake stuck. So the rear wheels were locked up, and
that'll happen.
I came to a stop sign, stopped, and the vehicle just wouldn't go. I'm like, what is going on here? And it was, when so that they just did the old fix of you just cut the cable.
Yes.
We don't need that parking brake.
Right. But I don't need the parking brake either. But it's just
nice
one of those
to have
things
things know that they're working.
Well, like that's exactly right. I just want things to work. I probably won't ever use it, but I just want to know, like, I also take satisfaction in it not working and me figuring it out, fixing it, and being like, that fucking thing works now. Like I figured it out why it didn't, and now because of something I did, it now works.
I'm waiting for a year from now when we're having this conversation. You're going, all right, we're doing an LS swap. I got a guy coming.
LS swap would be sweet. That's obviously not like a project I would undertake myself, and also that's a very expensive project.
Because do you need to do the transmission too by the time you get to that?
Probably, and like then even you start like it just to me it just. You have to keep going down the line then, because then like everything's not sufficient.
It's just starting over. It's not even the same truck anymore.
Right, and then brake is I don't have power brakes, so is that insufficient for this vehicle that has this LS engine? But I think these that are retro modded with LS swaps are awesome. Like those are those are
I'm
sick,
assuming those command a pretty big premium.
That's a separate price range also. Like one of those that's done well for sure. One thing cool that I'm doing that's a little bit cosmetic, a little bit practical too, is I'm like the
gun rack.
A gun rack, of course. Very practical, so I can have a place for my guns that I need to rack around with me. I did have vehicles with gun racks in that one point.
Lots of people in high school had trucks with a gun rack on the back windshield or on the back glass. Just the times have changed.
Yeah, but changing the lighting to LED.
Oh, like, that'll be a nice one.
Front markers, and then like my backup, my reverse lighting, and then like my reverse tail lights, and like they're pretty cool. Like I got like I don't know if it's like sequential.
Where they
blinkering lights in the back that they go, and some cool stuff there. So the only decision
headlights too. Then
I haven't purchased the headlights yet because there's two options here on the headlights. I'm going to switch them out to LED either way, but you can go LED that still looks stock,
right?
Or you can go LED that has like the amber halo around it, and like
or some crazier daytime running options,
right? But I just don't know. I like the overall. Still, the pickup looks mostly stock, and that's just like a different step. It's just a different direction that I'm not.
It is.
So I literally bought all the other ones, and I'm going to replace all the other ones, and then I'm just waiting because I can't decide on the headlights. I was leaning towards the some cool different things you can do, and I'm just starting to think I might just like the stock look headlights, but just freaking brighter because they're just so.
Well, and there is something old too where it is that understated but cool look. Where if it is still in the stock style, but it has been updated to LED, that does
right.
I mean, it does look more modern.
Right. That's probably enough C10 pickup talk for this episode. I guess maybe like once every couple months I'll get going for 10 minutes on that. So that way the 20 people that are interested in that will get my update, and then the other thousands that don't care don't have to endure it.
I actually had, this is the first time we probably talked about it since the podcast a long time ago, so I hadn't got updates on it in a while. I didn't know where you're
I've been doing a lot of shit. Even today, there's been okay, one more thing.
Yeah, pull them right back in.
The rear of the engine, it's been leaking a little oil back, not significant, but I've known that there's something back in towards the rear of the engine bay that's where there's been a little bit of oil slowly dripping around there, and I think I actually figured that out and addressed it and fixed it today.
Really?
So I was kind of pumped.
What is that?
It was actually the oil pressure line that runs the oil pressure gauge. It just it's a little like 1/8-inch compression line, and that line was actually leaking right in that little fitting. And I think I figured that out, and I kept thinking the leak was down much lower. I thought it was like a rear seal as a common thing, and like if your rear seal's leaking, you're basically screwed because that requires like taking the engine out to replace it, and then a lot of times they'll leak again anyways. I shouldn't say you're screwed, but it's just a big ass project that I'm not going to be able to just undertake. But I think was somewhere for much higher. I think I found it, and I think I got it fixed today even, and I'm like, oh my god, did I just fix that thing that I've been worried about? And like alive. I'm like, I am so good at this. I say that in jest because I'm not, but it's just like it is really satisfying when you can knock things off the list.
Oh yeah, dude, I totally believe it.
Put a new mahogany steering wheel on at one point in time that I love too. Oh, and then the sound system. I don't know if I got this.
Well, I saw you had some snaps of that. Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, that's way cooler too.
Yeah, people were memeing it, online, putting different sounds.
That's true. Everyone, that's right. So maybe we didn't talk about, but that makes the driving experience way more fun.
And is the sound quality significantly better too?
Like, there was no sound. quality
yeah, that's right.
Prior,
Yes.
Yeah. Like from
nothing.
Yeah, the sound quality is good. I mean, it's not. You wouldn't get in there and be like, "Holy fuck!"
No, yeah, but I couldn't remember if you had like blown out speakers.
No.
But yeah, you had nothing.
No, it just sounds good. It just sounds like a modern vehicle, basically, is what I would. It just sounds like you're riding in a vehicle that has
something
appropriate sound system. Okay, what's our timeline? We're at 9:04 already. Wow.
Times.
How about a quick sack segment? We got time for a really quick sack segment.
Let's do it.
2 things in my sack. First of all, I just wanted to show off these comically small dumbbells that I got. These
are
the ones I got. These are the ones I bought from Efren. These are the salesman samples.
Oh, okay. Did he paint those gold?
I think if Keith's listening, maybe he can verify, but I think some of these are actually gold.
Really?
And that's why he's a collector of them. I think they were some, if I understand right, some were gold and some were not gold. And I don't know the answer to that, but I do know these are gold, and I don't think he painted them that. I think
those
that
are
they
original.
were commonly gold, but these are the salesman sample, what they would call their half-pound dumbbells, and I'm a little bit torn as to what to do with these, because all the other ones I have in the gym, you know, I like to really hammer my thing of like, no, I buy these weights to be lifted. But these are not liftable. Like this is
liftable,
like,
and it seems like an easy thing for someone to accidentally take.
Yes, exactly. So, but I don't really like just like, it's not fun for me to be like, oh great, I'll set this in my office so I can just look at them by myself.
They do look fun to hold though.
Yeah. Like you can do silly workouts with them. Like,
you know, if you had those in your office at work, every person would be like, oh, making, actually it'd be a good experiment to put them in there and hear what joke you hear 10,000 times.
Yeah. Yes. Look how strong I am. I hand them to my baby and be like, here you go. So that was one thing in my sack. The other thing, I got another postcard.
Oh yes.
The postcards keep coming on now. So here's a couple of the past ones. I'm now getting just like memes in the mail from people. The Coors Light twins, you know, is this a cherry Coke? The meme of me thinking everything's a cherry Coke. And now this week, another postcard from an unidentified, I suppose, podcast listener, of course, right? So it's, you see here, it's
here, put it down a little bit. I can't quite see the.
Okay.
It's twin a while.
It's twin a while is what it says, and it's
hit the button.
A picture
Let's
of
hear it. Hit the button.
Yeah.
It's been a while with the twins.
It's been a while with the twins. What did it said? It's twin a while, and of course featuring Stained in duplicate. And then on the back it says, I love early 2000s rock, chicken bakes getting restocked, Fred Durst stupid grin, and the twins.
That's good. That's good.
Fred Durst stupid grin.
This is almost turning into a new segment where people can just send you postcards every week, and we can review the postcards on the podcast.
I think I'm gonna hang all the postcards in the gym on the bulletin board, because
they're gonna
like, I have so much stuff I never know what to do with, and most of it I just end up putting at the gym too.
That was always my go-to. We started to get a bunch of stuff. I don't know what to do. Yep, it's going to the gym. It'll find a home somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
I like that. It's twin a while.
That is really good.
Stained.
Someone's thinking. So yeah, if anyone can one up, if you think you have a funnier postcard idea, make sure to send it to Tanner's house so we can review it on the podcast. No need to include a return address. Just be a mystery man.
My wife sent me this one, and she's like, you and your friends need to grow up. And I'm like, I don't even know who it is that needs to grow up. I do like, this is a good one though.
That is really good.
Someone did good work.
It's layers on layers. Trying to explain that to someone that doesn't know what's going on is a real trip.
If they got this picture of Stained and it says it's twin a while, like this is a postcard, so that means multiple male personnel saw this, and I wonder what their thought was when they saw this.
That's really good. You know what you can do, Tanner? You can I think most major banks let you do this. You can put any picture as your credit card. You could put one of these postcards as your credit card going forward.
Right.
Like anytime. Then you go at a restaurant, you pay, and the waiter would be like, holy shit, is that the twins? And instantly he'd know what's going on.
This guy's good. This guy's all right. Yeah. I want to talk about supporting our supporting members. So we haven't declared what the official line in the sand date is.
No, we've just said February.
Yeah, February. So we'll say this: if you're listening to this episode within its first week of being new, you still have time. But I don't know if next week that'll be true yet or not. Like, this is almost. I don't know if this is your final warning, but this is very close to your final warning.
I am uneducated on this, but I would say this is damn close to your final warning.
Damn close to your final warning, yes, for sure.
You could even say it might be the final countdown. That little synthesizer is going to start beeping you in, and you're going to know time's ticking.
Yeah. So what we're saying is here we've got this big mailing coming up that's going out to all of our supporting members. Most of it's arrived. Actually, something else has shipped. I didn't tell you that today, Tommy, but another piece of the important piece of the puzzle shipped. So, yeah, we've picked something up. Something else has shipped. So we're getting very close. What we're going to have to do is draw a line where anyone that's joined up by X date is getting in on it, and anyone that joins up after that misses out on it. So we say all that to tell you, sign up immediately. If you want a chance of getting in on this one prior to the line in the sand, I'm getting my shtick out, ready to draw a big-ass line in the sand, and it's coming soon. So please, if you want to get signed up, do it now. Otherwise, you will regret it for the rest of your life.
And also, welcome aboard all the people that have been signing up. A lot of people wanted to be on the other side of the line, and boy, was there a lot of people signing up.
Yes. Love to see that. You know, that really helps out things that we're doing here and makes me optimistic about the future of Massenomics and us being able to do more additional cool things even beyond this one that we've got planned.
It makes me wake up with a smile, and if you want me to wake up with a smile, then you should sign up to be a supporting member.
It makes me wake up every morning feeling like P. Diddy.
I was going to say it if you weren't. It sounded so good.
So do sign up, and then if you do sign up, there's things like a discount code. It's how you get access to our exclusive Discord. Only supporting members get in on our Discord, and that also is what allows you to listen along to the podcast live each week if you'd like to do that, like we have crew members doing right now. It gets you early access to like our powerlifting meets, the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic. It's like the almost only way you can even get signed up for that. Pretty much too much stuff to mention, but in addition to that, it could get you on supporting our supporting members, which is a segment we do every week. And this week, Big Nick, our resident agronomy location manager, Big Nick.
Maybe you should explain what agronomy is for the people that don't know.
Yeah, Big Nick is an agronomic expert. I believe he's also probably coupled along with that, he's a salesman. That's kind of the interesting duality of a sales agronomist, is they're part scientist almost and part salesman. So you have to merge.
But you still haven't said what agronomy is yet, though.
Well, it's growing stuff, right? It's like I don't know, it's plant the science. What is agronomy? Agronomy is the science of how things grow, how plants grow.
I thought you were looking at it like going to read me an actual definition there.
Oh no, I'd have no idea. Like I would just say like the science of growing plants.
And in this case, we're typically talking things like corn and soybeans.
We're talking about farmers.
Yes. The science of soil management and crop production.
Crop production.
That's a great way to sum it up.
Plants was a stupid word to use. I just couldn't think. So yeah, it's a crop production.
Felt like, I think Tanner isn't quite hitting the mark on this one.
That sounds much better. And I should know that. I mean, I work in the industry myself.
But it's one of those things. Is just like how you just know what it is.
It's like you just right. So Big Nick is an agronomist, and he's one strong sumbitch too, because he just lifted. Did you see these numbers, Tommy? He hit a 700-pound squat in his meet.
For real?
A 408 bench, a 600 deadlift for a 1708 total.
Jeez.
700 squat is not messing around.
Man, that is not.
And well-rounded numbers in general. 764.
Whew.
That's a meet.
That's good. That's great. That's great lifting.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Big Zach, who Big Zach brought me a chicken bake.
Really?
Of sorts. He brought me a casserole, a bake, a chicken dish bake. So he said, "This is a chicken bake." You know, and it wasn't necessarily a la the chicken bake in sense of flavor, but
inspired.
It's a bake. Yeah. Well.
Loosely
I would just say it was technically a chicken bake.
Yeah,
is what I would say.
Now, yeah.
Not really inspired by the
more
chicken bake,
like a dish, a hot dish.
Yeah. But it was a chicken bake, right? You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
Okay, and then last but not least, Big Mini Action Jesus, our homeboy, was the guest this week on Unpaid and Underrated, and we'll be seeing Big Minnie and many of you others in a few short weeks at the Arnold.
Dude, I couldn't believe it. Was it Grant on Instagram today had a post
22 days.
It said 22 days to the Arnold, and that number blew my mind. 22 days.
3 weeks from today, you and I, 3 weeks to the minute right now, you and I will probably be rolling into somewhere in Indianapolis and be finding our hotel room.
We might even be on the road for another hour or so.
Yeah.
But we will for sure have just finished up a lot of time in the car.
Yes.
Wow.
We would have been, three weeks from now, we will have just finished a whole lot of Massenomics scheming.
Oh, God. Also,
some of our best brainstorm sessions.
Yes, there will be an excessive amount of scheming, no doubt there. Probably some C10 truck talk. We don't have to worry about boring people.
Even though I just kind of blew my wad on most of it.
Well, that might go on for another. That could go on for hours. So we got nothing to do.
Especially if I don't have to worry about boring podcast listeners to death.
There's no time limit. We can
just be locked in the pickup with me with no choice but to listen. You're like, well, I can't get away from it, so we got time for like an hour's worth of straight C10 pickup talk.
I got nothing else to do for the next. Actually, I got nothing else to do for the next 5 days. So yeah. We have a name just right now pop in that I do not recognize at all. So maybe
is it our guest? Maybe
that's our guest.
Okay. Should I read an ad while you kick the rest of them out?
Yeah, it's gonna be really weird when I let this person in and it's just a new person that signed up and they're the only one in. But we'll give it a go.
Okay. Juggernaut AI. Check it out. Juggernautai.app is the website. And what I'm going to say about Juggernaut AI this week is if you've been someone that has never really paid for programming, you've kind of done it on your own before and you've been lifting for a while and you've had some success, but maybe you've hit some walls, you're kind of stuck at times, or you feel like maybe you're just kind of spinning your wheels and you've been averse to paying money for training. What I would say is check out Juggernaut AI. It's extremely affordable. You're getting this when you use our discount code Massenomics. You're getting it for about $30 a month. And I feel like you might just be thinking, well, I don't want just some app. Well, get it and try it out. Test it out for a month. You'll see what I'm talking about. I don't need to explain it in great detail, but I think you'll find at $30 the value is great. And I'd almost be surprised if it doesn't help you break through some of those plateaus that you've been experiencing, just being able to take your training into someone else's hands a little bit. And so my honest take is just give it a try if you're in that boat, and you're not out much if you do go 6 months down the road and you spent a couple $100 or something and you thought maybe it wasn't the thing for you. I don't think you're out much. So it's really I'd be really
hard pressed to believe that you'd say you're in a worse spot than where you started.
I agree. I honestly believe you will probably, it's very likely that you'll make progress. It's very likely you'll learn a few additional things that you'll take your training to some places you haven't done before, and you'll learn a couple things of either that you do or don't like that you were unaware of before. So check it out. Juggernautai.app.
And one final thing on that, we don't talk about this enough. We've seen enough people use this that have been training for significant periods of time, get progress on it, so we know it works.
Yes.
I don't know, have we ever actually seen anyone get on it that we know and not make progress?
The only thing I see happen sometimes is people won't do it. They'll get the app and then you're not,
but
they're
doing
the
their
program.
version of it.
Yeah.
But we've never seen anyone commit to it and not actually make progress.
And it's like there even is some room for there's lots of room,
but you can't add in new days that aren't in there.
Yeah, and you still have to train. Like you can't just not go to the gym.
The whole thing is based on rep schemes.
Right. So as long as you're following that, a lot of success that I've seen firsthand.
All right, here we go.
Oh, there he is.
I'm here, boys. Sorry.
We were a little unsure based on your screen name.
Yeah, Tanner, do you see the name?
I'm using my girlfriend's MacBook. So my fear first was can I get it pulled up on the MacBook? So I usually do everything from my phone, but I know you guys have been trying to do more of the YouTube stuff. So I was let me get a little bit better quality. And so as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh shit, they're going to be trying to hop in here. But,
I saw the name pop in and I thought, okay, that does seem like a woman's name. And we don't have many women listeners, so it's got to be our guest.
Yeah. So Big Shane, we're excited to get you on. We can hear you. You can hear us. So if you're ready to rock, we don't want to say all the good stuff and have it not be recorded.
Dude, we got to save it.
Yeah, exactly. So we are excited to get Big Shane on. So Here's my first question. Is it Haller or Holler? Because I think I've said Holler in my head every time I've thought about you. Like when we talked about having you on the podcast, anything like that, I think I've always said Holler. But until I listen to something, I'm like, wait a second, I guess I'm wrong. I've been wrong the whole time.
No, you're good. So I feel like I've been getting, people usually say holler, and I've got that like my whole life growing up in elementary school. It was like holler back, or you know what I mean? And it's like, so at this point I'm kind of used to it. I get Sean, I feel like, more than anything else. Like someone will like see my name, they're just like, oh, Sean. And I'm just like, yep. Like I'm kind of just like, I guess I should probably speak up about it. I'm kind of easy go with the flow, but I'm just like, yep, Sean Holler, what's up?
Yeah. So for anyone that's not familiar with Big Shane Haller here, Big Shane has a big total. I think is your best still 23:48, 23:47, 23:48?
23:47, and that number kind of really annoys me because it's like it's not 23:50. Like I feel like it's a weird like OCD thing with numbers. Like it's almost 23:50, but like if you tell someone 23:47, they're like, that doesn't sound real. It's kind of a weird number. So kind of kick myself for not doing that extra 6 pounds, but at 23:47.
Yeah, and Shane is a big power lifter. You know, we talk to a lot of power lifters that are 5'8" and under. And what are you're competing in the three, you're over 300 pounds, and are you 6'3", something like that?
What you gotta say? Because I feel like well, let me hear it first.
Well, first of all, what I'd say is you're actually tall, and that's of note because like that's kind of uncommon. I don't know. What do you think? I'd say like 6'3" or 6'4".
That was my guess. Was 6'3" or 6'4".
So I feel like for whatever reason, anytime I watch like any like the live streams back from like any like the bigger meets, or like someone comments online, people think I'm like 6'5" or 6'6" or something like that.
Right.
Like, I used to be 6'4", and then I gained a bunch of weight, and then I have a couple herniated discs, so I think I shrunk from squatting, but I'm like 6'2" and 3/4. That's what I like to kind of go. So I won't even really give myself the 6'3", but
I just got to round that up. You got shoes on. You got shoes on all the time. You're 6'3".
Couple lifts, right? Get some lifts in my Vans.
Exactly.
Well, here's a question: who have you competed against that's taller than you before? Like anyone of note?
I mean, Dan is pretty close, but
he's close. Yeah. He's not like quite as tall as you.
He's shorter than me, but he's also like 5 inches wider than me.
Yeah, Dan has definitely a different look. Obviously,
his shape is a little more like it's closer to the circle. I was talking to a buddy about this on a podcast not that long ago. Where like I feel like the closer you are to like a circle, like the more optimal like your leverages are going to be for
a
well-rounded
lift.
Like there's some stumpy guys that can pull some pretty big numbers, and I mean, if the squat and the dead or the bench kind of cap off enough for it, you know what I mean? You don't have to pull too much, but
it's the old argument that it's not weight classes, it's height classes. You know, I'm 6'1". I want to be competitive. I'm going to have to weigh damn near 300, you know?
Well, that's like, I mean, like, so like you guys are both tall. So it's like, the more I have to fill out, you know what I mean? It's like filling the frame out. Bench is like the worst thing for me. I got these like go-go gadget arms and stuff. It's good for deadlift, but even for squat, like, I have a very wide squat, so it's like it's not even you got to kind of milk the leverages you got and stuff. And even now, I just switched over to sumo recently, and that's even kind of more kind of gaming the leverages to kind of shrink up what I do got. So
so like what do you walk around like? What's your weight right now? Like today?
Right now I'm about 306. So I mean I'm kind of creeping up a little bit from my last meet. I've generally stayed right around like 300 pounds, 305, 295, like for my entirety of competing. So my first meet was back in 2016, and I weighed in at like 296, and then I've generally hung around here. I've weighed in at super heavyweight one time. I was 322 pounds, and it was the most sweaty, uncomfortable I've ever been in my life. And it was not like a good 320. It was like a lot of like, you guys ever do like the bulking meals where it's like you're eating like basically like Easy Mac and ground beef, you know what I mean? There's like all the calories in that. Yeah.
But still though, so what was your first meet? Was that like 2016 or 2017? So
2016.
Yeah. To go from 2016 to today and really only span 30-ish pounds, that's not a whole lot actually.
And put on how many 100 pounds on your total in the time.
Well, I basically, I don't even know if these headphones. Can you guys still hear me with this?
Yeah, the same
actually.
They're
like, they work just to look cool. They're not even working. So I mean, I've added about 500 pounds exactly. Oh, my cats are kind of going at it, my bad. I've added about 500 pounds exactly. So my first total was a 1847, and 2347, the biggest now. So I mean, exactly 500 pounds in about 7 years, but really 10 pounds body weight max that I've kind of gained in that. So it's been a lot of recomping and then just kind of optimizing, I guess.
You kind of have done the joke that we always make is like, you have a really good year and you're like, oh, I put 50 pounds on my total. And you say, I'll just do this for 8 years and I'll have 400 pounds. But
Exactly.
you actually did do that joke.
For most of us, that's like a stupid joke that doesn't ever happen, but you actually did kind of do that.
Well, that's almost like a thing now, is it's like, so that total was spring of 2022. And like, it's 50 pounds a year for the last 2 years, dude. I've been I wouldn't say a drought. I mean, I hit a 2303 at a meet I did last April, and then a 2331 at this last competition I did. But it's like, it's not that PR total. So like, I'm not stoked about it and stuff, but it's like, it gets hard threading them all together. You know what I mean? My deadlift's been going up, but it's really the squat and the bench has been kind of hard to kind of line everything up in the same competition to really kind of optimize everything,
Yeah. We talked about you being one of the taller guys, obviously, that lifts, and just like your stature, your size and stature in general. I just talk about not being able to think of that many people that are taller than you that lift even in super heavyweight 308, those weight classes. But the other thing I noticed is your sumo deadlift. Are there many people much heavier than you that pull sumo like as effectively as you do? Because what's your best deadlift? Is it
so I just did 903 at this last competition. So I have a 900 squat and deadlift raw, which I think there's 6 or 7 guys that have ever done that. So it's like a pretty cool group to be in. I have the lowest total out of those guys, but it's still nice to be in that group.
Well, if you what I would say, if you walked into the room and you're like, oh, that guy's a power lifter, he's pulled 900 pounds, guess, what style do you assume he deadlifts in? Like, I would guess like 9 times out of 10 that it's conventional, just based on your size. It doesn't seem like there's people that size, your size, pulling sumo like that very often.
Yeah, and my best, I mean, really up until like the last 2 years, I mean, I was strictly conventional. So I pulled 865 in competition before, and kind of where that's kind of like total PR drought kind of started. Right after that competition, I went right into prep for the American Pro, the very first one. It was like 16 weeks after, and I usually don't like kind of stacking meets together that close, because I feel like I kind of not like bad luck, but it's definitely like if I'm not regulating everything as far as recovery and just kind of pushing myself a little too much, I can be a little frail in my back and everything else like that. Like I said, with those herniated discs, so my back acted up that summer. And I really wasn't able to train or really do any kind of deadlifting at all. And it came through a PT's advice to really just kind of, if you want to do something, just try and maybe do a little sumo deadlifting, just to, do light sets of 15 or something. And started it. And it's really taken probably about a year and a half to kind of get it like pretty dialed in. But first competition doing it, I pulled 876, which was like a 10-pound PR, and then this last competition 903. So I've had some consistent progress with it, and I feel like we're just talking about, like, the longer you do it, like the harder it is to kind of string PRs together like that. So I feel like to kind of have like, I don't know, about 40 pounds of deadlift PR last year it's a pretty nice little pocket of PRs to kind of find when it gets harder and harder to kind of do that,
Yep.
How would you say? So when you switch from conventional to sumo on your deadlifting style, how, if at all, does that affect your squat? Your training of your squat? If you've got a heavy deadlift session, now that you're going sumo instead of conventional, does it make you feel better or worse any faster for when it comes around for squat time?
So I always squat and I deadlift in the same sessions. So like I always am squatting first, whether it's a light or heavy day. I kind of like undulated a little bit, so if one's heavy, the other one will be light, and I'd squat and deadlift twice a week. So at first it was really kind of just like, it wasn't necessarily a bad, like all the pressure was off my back, which was good, but then like the spots like you wouldn't really think about, like my adductors, like in the inside, like my hammies and everything was like cooked, dude. So like it was something to where like I definitely had to kind of adjust that too, and rearrange my warm ups and everything else like that, and just the kind of rehab stuff I was doing. But I feel like I've kind of built up a tolerance to that now, and I've kind of dialed in like what percents are pretty good and manageable to do both. Because I mean, even like prepping for a competition like this last one, like I would be squatting and deadlifting in the the mid 800s, twice in the same week during the same sessions and stuff like that. So it definitely kind of wears a little bit, but I feel like they're really good accessories for the most part. I mean, I squat pretty wide. So the sumo deadlift is basically about my squat stance. So it's kind of just like, if I can just kind of jack the bar up enough to where, my hips are in a decent position. I mean, I'm really just kind of squatting the weight up, which is kind of nice. You hear people say that cue, like, leg press. And once you kind of find out how to get that feel, I mean, it really kind of is that, you know what I mean? Once you can get that up down position.
It is amazing though, watching your videos on Instagram, how if you like cut you off at the waist and just looked from the waist down, you almost wouldn't know if you're squatting or deadlifting because your stances do look so similar between the two.
And people would always ask me, they're like, you would, because when I used to pull conventional, they're like, oh, your stance is so wide, squatting, like you'd think you would pull sumo. And I would always like, I don't want to say like I would like kind of like laugh at it, but it's like when you pull conventional, like you kind of have this like, I don't want to say like elitist mentality.
It's a point of pride though. It is.
I pull conventional, you know what I mean? I do it the right way. And when you can't do it at all, it's like, well, shit, if this is what I gotta do to do it, you know what I mean? I'll pull it that way. So I think I definitely want to try and get back to a competition at some point where I'm just pulling conventional, whether it be like a deadlift only thing or just whatever. I definitely want to try and get like a 900-pound conventional deadlift. I think that would be cool, just to kind of say I can do both. But for right now, this is kind of the thing that's clicking. And definitely I would like to say like the total is my favorite lift out of the three for sure. Like I think I'm good individually at certain ones, but if I can just put everything together for the biggest total, that's definitely what my goal is every single time. So
you're talking about your total at 2347 at 308. Is there any number that you would hit? Like if you went out next week and had the meet of your life, like, is there a number that you would hit and be like, yeah, I'm really happy with that. Like, I'm good. Like, I don't even know what I want to do next because I'm just so good with that number. I'm just, I guess I'm done. Like, is there a number like that?
So I feel like when I very first started, it was like I said, back in 2016. So I was getting ready for my first meet in like February, and they had like the LA Fit Expo that month before or something like that. This is when Animal or Ape Man used to put all those like crazy hype videos on YouTube and stuff. And it was like right around the same time as like the Mark Bell, like powerlifting mentality and stuff. You listen to those 1,000 times.
I fell with 1,000 pounds on my back. And someone tried to help me weight, and I said, "Get the fuck away from me! I'm a man. I walk on my own 2 feet."
Yeah. I feel like it would be weird to like talk to him like after listening to those for so long. It was even like I did the Table Talk podcast with Dave last year, and it was the same thing. Like I've listened to so many videos with that guy, so it'll actually just be like, "Hey, Dave," and he's like, "Oh, hey." I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of weird to not hear him say the stuff you're used to hearing him say.
How weird is it? Because we were there, I think, not too long after you were there, and we were on, maybe just like a month or two after you were, and it is just a wild because it's like an out of body
thing though. It doesn't seem real. It seems like you're watching what's happening.
Yeah, you look at all this, either the videos or you listen to the podcast or whatever. So it's like it becomes like I mean, like that's our media. So it's like that's like your TV star or whatever. So it's like you kind of get starstruck like meeting him. And I was lucky enough to where I went up 2 days before my podcast so I could train both days. And so I got to kind of hang out with him and get like those jitters out of the way. Because I feel like if it was just like, hey, I'm Shane. Nice to meet
that's
you.
how it was. We popped in
4 hours.
Yeah, we went from meeting him to podcasting within like what 10 minutes, Tanner.
I mean, maybe it was 30 by the time we messed around.
It was
and
quick.
You guys went together though, so that kind of takes like
yes, it does. Having two people for sure.
Safety blanket, right?
Yep,
yeah,
it
that's
does.
True. That's a good point.
You can deflect things out a little more.
Yeah.
It is really cool though. Like that is just like such a bucket list experience to just even. I'd never been in the Elite FTS gym compound before. Even just being in there, I'm like, wow, this is the place. Yeah,
the nicest gym I've ever been to. And you guys have a pretty good sized gym too. But I mean, that's like
we do, but it's
so
like
much
it's kind of apples and oranges still though. But it's just jam packed with equipment too. It's just crazy.
You walk down that opening carpet row, and it's just like like 7 monoliths, 7 pro benches. They have a million dumbbells, every accessory. I mean,
Yeah,
it really was.
You couldn't put anything else in. Like it was.
Oh, dude,
It's maxed out.
It was hard to work out because it's like you're kind of looking at everything like as you're like, you know what I mean? They're like, you're next in the rotation. You're just like, oh shit, sorry.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. But I guess we were asking you about the total and like, if there's a number or anything.
I got distracted on that. So
the Elite FTS. I wanted to ask you about that anyways too.
But so anyway, back with those videos, Brandon Allen did the LA Fit Expo that year, and he had a 2303 total, walked out, reps, and like I just remember being like that, like that's the biggest number, like that's the, you know, that's strong. If you hit something like that, that's strong. And so back in 2021, I did the I don't know if you guys were at that one. It was the showdown in Kansas City.
We were there. That was 2021.
So
right?
I had a 2303.
Or was it 2020? I can't even remember now. Was it 2020?
2020 was the smaller year because that was the year it was going to be in New York, and like they like closed because nobody was doing anything in New York that year.
It was whatever they did the first one in Kansas City, whatever year that was.
That was, so I did that one too, but I did a 2265 that year.
Okay.
And so the following year I did a 2303, and it was like, you know what I mean? Like that was like my number.
Was Brandon there? The year we were there, Brandon was there.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I literally,
I
hit the total. I get off the platform. He's there, and he's like, again, this is like, you know, like it's like I'm like I watch you all the time. You know, look up.
Yeah.
Went up to him, was like, hey man, I don't want to be weird, but like I just want to let you know, like I'm Shane. Nice to meet you. Like,
yeah,
I look up to you a huge amount. And like I remember you hit that total at this meet. And I just hit my 2,300 pounds here, and it's really cool just to have you here to like watch that and like, you know, to be. And he was like the coolest dude ever. And I hung out with him the next day because he was handling somebody. But yeah, so I feel like that was my number. And now it's just kind of like I don't know. It's like you do a meet and you hit these numbers, and it's like, man, that's like it has this like feel of it where it's like it's cool for like 5 minutes, and you're just like, I could probably do like a little more than that. So I feel like that's kind of where it's at now, is just trying to just keep pushing it. You know what I mean? 24 is the new 23. I guess that's kind of what everyone's kind of gaming for. And I don't know. I guess once I get there, I'll let you know what the next number is. That's right. The newest goal right now. But 23 was that life for me for a while. And you know, what's
the number one world record total in sleeves in the weight class?
In my weight class, it's 24:27. Andrew Haas just broke that. Okay. And that's like you're talking about my last name. Is it Haas? Haas?
I always say House in my mind, but I actually don't know
House for some reason, but I could be wrong.
I feel like either one of those, like Haas is a pretty badass last name, and then like House is like, you're like, okay, that's pretty cool too.
He might be the hairiest powerlifter that exists.
The hairiest House, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got that at 24:27, and he's got the wrap total too at 24:63. So he owns 308. He's like the number one guy in my class. And then overall, it's like it goes from his total all the way up to Jesus, who has like 2550, which is like, I mean, that's an insane number.
So he'll be competing here in 3 days.
Yeah. So are you gonna be paying attention to that at all?
What do you guys have called for his numbers right now? I feel like there's a million. I have like 3 group chats where everyone's like taking bets on that right now. Like, what does he even do?
We actually haven't even talked about this yet.
Let's talk about it. Actually, we should all talk about it right now. And also interesting, probably also like you, we're buddies with Dan. First of all, so I'm a big Dan fan. So I'm always it's hard for me to root for anyone to beat any of Dan's numbers in anything. First of all, I'll say that. Just because I like Dan and he's been an awesome dude, and I don't know, he's my buddy, and I don't want anyone to really beat his stuff.
So I was training with him last year. We did that meet in April in Texas, and I drove over to his gym over in Daytona for our last heavy squat session, and we had the Sheffield meet on the TVs while we were training and stuff, and he wasn't having that great of a session. He kind of went into that meet a little banged up, and I remember we were watching it, and it was like we watched him do his opener, his 1,000, and then he did 1,036, and I think everyone at that point was kind of just like, oh fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Enough to have a crazy day, but I was there watching it with him, and you know, it's kind of weird when that kind of stuff happens too. Like I was watching the live stream when Andrew House broke my squat record, and it's like you can't what am I going to be mad at the guy for being strong? I mean, I'm going to beat you up for being strong. You know what I mean? It's like all you can do is just like, just he did it. You know what I mean? And it's it was kind of it's crazy to see what he's going to do now. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause he's even surpassed.
Well, and that's what part of me just thinks, like, how nutty can this get? How crazy can this go?
It seems like he's very, we talked about it maybe even last week, Tommy. It's like you still have to do it in a meet. Obviously he's had some really awesome training leading up to this, but still to do all 3 lifts in the meet, in theory to hit like a 9 for 9. But that being said, it seems like he could hit 2,600 pounds in this meet.
If you punch the numbers in, man, I mean, everything started training is like, I think it's like 10 pounds off of that or something like that. And so,
yeah.
And he's so young still is the other part that doesn't add up. It's just,
we'll throw the wrinkle of the whole, it's on a power bar, it's walked out,
a combo rack,
it's drug tested. And then on top of it, those meets go, they're over in like 3.5 hours. So it's like, squat, right? I mean, it's
with like overly strict judging too. There's a lot of guys that get lifts that all day. Any normal person would say, why didn't that count? And
we're kind of blowing him right now, but I mean, it really is. I mean, it's one of the things. I remember I was driving home from that training session with Dan. It was like a 3-hour drive, and I had it on my phone on the live, watching the live stream. I watched the whole thing all day. And I mean, it was just, it's a crazy thing, man. You know what I mean? It makes me excited to sit there and compete and, try to aspire to sit there and get close, but it's just like, it's a different food, man, top of the food chain.
The other thing about it that kind of like racks my brain on it is like, I get the squat. Like when I look at him and I see him and the way he looks, the way he moves and stuff, I get the 1,050 squat. Like that makes sense to me.
Sense, right.
But then like the way his deadlift is moving, I'm like, normally dudes that are built like that,
it's the shape, man.
Right.
It's the circle.
But still, usually when they're that big, it starts to be a problem like hanging on to it or just somewhere.
Well, I think that was his biggest thing, I think, was been grip. You know what I mean? That was just like his limiting factor. But if
it looks locked in.
He gets, I feel like for a big guy, like I mean, even for me, like, to get down to the bar like that and really get wedged in, like it's not comfortable. So I think that's almost his biggest asset is that he's able to just stuff everything down there where it needs to be. And then his body wants to spring up. If you would watch like Ray Williams squat, I don't think it was, I mean, he's obviously the crazy squatter, but it was like, it was so hard for him to get compact down to depth that he would shoot up. That last 10% of the lift was the hardest part for him because he was literally like a spring. You know what I mean? He just get down there and his body would shoot him right back up.
Yeah, his calves were stacked on his hamstrings. His
there was
stomach stacked on his quads. And, right. Yeah, it's crazy. I'll be excited to watch it. Also, it's good for that competition that they have him doing that because I still think the scoring of that, the way they decide the winners, is weird.
Very weird.
It's fortunate that they've got him, the biggest guy, the biggest, strongest guy, that it's working, that he won last year. And if he does what he could do, he'll win again this year, and that plays into it well because it's unfortunate. What would suck is if he goes out and does the biggest total of all time and then like didn't win. Yeah. You're like, I don't get it even. Like this doesn't make any sense.
It's one of those things too, where I think like from a casual person or just like, even just like a normal person that really doesn't even know about powerlifting, it's like, you would just expect like the biggest person to sit there. That's your winner. You know what I mean? Right. And so, especially for this meet where it's the most prestigious drug tested meet on that side. And it's, he's winning it. And he's also the strongest guy, not just drug tested, just period. I mean, it's like you couldn't ask for a better poster boy for that kind of a situation. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. We had to ask you about this. So you're a UCF guy, went to University of Central Florida. The Knights, you did wrestling and football, both there. Mm-hmm. What years were you there? First of all,
I was there I wrestled for the first 3 years I was there. So that would have been fall of 11 through right around like 2015. And then 14 to 15 is when I played football, but that was the year after Blake Bortles was there. So when they went 15-0, they won the Fiesta Bowl. It was like this huge thing. That was the year before I got there, or I walked onto the team. And so my senior year, I walked onto the football team, and I was on the practice squad. I mean, I didn't play in any games or anything, but I got to dress for a few. I got to travel for the bowl game and stuff. I got a bowl conference ring because we won our conference title that year. So, I mean, it was a really cool experience, but I never actually got to – I got the college football experience without actually having to, like, play. Got the year pass.
Who was the head coach that year for football?
O'Leary, dude. He was the scariest old man. Like, George O'Leary, he was at Georgia Tech years before that and stuff. He had a successful program there. Or he was like an offensive coordinator or something. And then when he came to UCF, I don't know. When I played high school football, I only played like 2 years, and we were like not a very good school. Like I think we won a combined, like we were like 3-17 the 2 years I played. It's not good. You know what I mean? And I was like, I'm not even really like a huge football guy, but like I played, I'm not like a hand-eye coordinated athlete. Like if it was like wrestling or football where it's like me get in front of you, me move you, like that was my deal. And so when I went to UCF, dude, it was like hard knocks. Like you show up and there's like meetings before practice, you get taped, you get, more meetings before practice, meetings after practice, film and everything else like that. And it was like this very regimented thing that I was not prepared for. And you would see him, dude, and it was like we're all like, college Division I college athletes, I mean, big guys around 300 pounds, and this dude would scare everybody, man. Like he was just from embarrassing you in front of everybody to like just like running you into the dirt with just different drills or whatever. Like it was not pleasant, dude. Like if you fell asleep in one of those meetings, he would out you in front of everybody, and it was like it's screaming at you in front of like 100 people in a room, dude. Like terrifying. It's 5 a.m. You don't want to fall asleep. You're 20 years old. Like not good.
Yeah. Well, and they've had it. Tommy and I were talking about it before. They've had an interesting lineage of coaches there too, because then after it was
Frost,
the Nebraska. Yeah. What is it?
Nick Frost.
Yeah. Frost, the Nebraska dude.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just missed him then apparently.
Yeah. And so, the year I had the option when I was there, I could have been like a redshirt senior. So, I mean, I probably had the potential to maybe to make the travel team and, just be in the depth chart somewhere and stuff. But that following year, I think my senior year, we were, I don't know, maybe we lost like 3 games or something like that. The next year, they didn't win a game. Like they were like the worst team in like college football. So it was like, I could have played, but like, do you want to play for a team like that kind of deal? So I kind of dodged a bullet there. But then when he came in, within like 2 years, I mean, they were crushing it. They were, the fake natty champs because they didn't drop a game, I don't think, but they didn't make it into the national championship and stuff. So everyone, they were kind of claiming that. But so they've been up and down. I think they've had 2 coaches since then too. So I mean, it's really kind of been a revolving door since I've been there. But
yeah, well, and that's what was the interesting part for us is so the coach after Frost would have been, I think it was Heupel was the coach after him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he's actually from Aberdeen, is where he's from.
Yeah, he's from Western South Dakota,
where the gym's at and everything. So
yeah,
dude, that's wild.
Yeah,
and now he's the Tennessee coach.
Yeah, so he got bounced around a little bit too. I feel like that's got to be like a frustrating job a little bit because it's like either you produce, you don't produce, then it's like you got to move to a different school like halfway across the country or whatever else.
It's a weird. That's a weird. Like we've even got friends at the gym who's listeners of the podcast who their job is college coaching, and I always think it's a weird thing because your job is so fickle. Like I'm not getting fired at my job as long as like I keep showing up and am not a dumbass.
And
like,
also, if you get fired from your job, you're not like, your option is I have to move to like 5 states away,
Right. Where sometimes they'll just get fired just like they won one less game than what the school expects them to win. And then like everyone's fired.
And it's almost like a tarnished thing. Like everyone hates you when you leave. Like you ruined this program. Like the boosters are all pissed. And it's just like you leave in shame.
Yeah. It's a weird thing. What you must have a job, and I've never heard it on anything that you've talked about before. So
I work for Progressive Home Insurance, so like those Flow commercials, and
Nice.
so I sit at home all day. I'm an underwriter for them, and I was I joke like it's as close to a professional powerlifter as you can get. Where like I literally get to sit at home all day, eat food, drink water. I'm off my feet,
just chill.
Thinking about the gym that night, and then as soon as I get off work at 5, I make a beeline for the gym and I go right on in. So I mean, it's a pretty cushy gig. I've been there since 2017, so about 6-7 years. And I mean, it's, I wouldn't say it's like my dream job. I didn't grow up wanting to be an underwriter, but
but there's also something to
it's cushy, man. So
yeah, but people don't when they're young, especially, understand the value of having a job where it's like not super stressful. Like it gives you the flexibility to do what you want after hours or other times. Like there is a value to that a lot of people don't get.
No, it affords me to do the things that I like to do outside of work. So if it's like, I got to just do what I got to do at work and I can do whatever I want after, like I'm cool with that. I feel like that's kind of the adult trade-off. You know what I mean?
Right. That is the adult. That is a good way of putting it. It's the adult trade-off. And like, yeah, almost nobody grows up thinking that they want to do the job that they end up, because most people don't grow up to be firemen and professional football players. And,
Tanner, do you remember the first time we had Dave Tate on the podcast and you said, Dave, if you had recommendations for someone starting a business, what would you say? And he's like stops for a long time and then he goes, don't.
You guys said that about opening a gym though too, right? It's like,
cool. I would
don't recommend it.
For like 99% of people, I'm like, yeah, just don't even do it. Like, it's probably not going to work out. Like, that's the thing. You don't know the people that it is actually going to work out for and that are dedicated enough to it and can make it work. But like for most people, it'd be like, it saves everyone a little hassle if you just tell everyone not to do it, because for most people, it's not going to work out. But there are exceptions to the rule too. But
even like the gym I go to, Pinellas Barbell, my buddies Sean and Nick, they own it, and it's the gym's doing good and everything else like that. But it's not like a guaranteed thing. Like you got to hustle and fight to kind of keep that going. And whether it's just updating equipment or getting new members in or causing new stuff to get traffic into the gym, I mean, it's it's definitely a labor of love. You know?
I do like your point of bringing up. I do think it's interesting, like the job thing. It's like, maybe it's not somebody's dream job, but also like it works really well for what you're doing. And I'm in the same boat as that a lot of times. I have a joke. I have a son in junior high, and my day job is like not exciting. Like it doesn't sound cool. There's nothing cool about it, but it pays all our bills really well. It allows our family to do a whole bunch of stuff we need to be able to do and all this stuff. But my joke with my son all the time is like, because he gets pretty good grades, and I'm always like, if you study really hard, and I mean like if you really work at this, and we get you into a good college and you bust your ass at college, you too someday could be a finance program manager.
But that's a legit title, dude. Like when I tell people like I'm an underwriter, they're like, wow, that sounds like, I'm like, no, it's not that crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, and it doesn't sound, there's nothing about that that's cool, or like that you grow up being like, that's what I want to do. When I grow up,
working in a
wants
fast-paced office environment.
But that's stuff that changes as you get old enough to understand like there's trade-offs to everything. And like, also like presumably your number one hobby and passion, like it allows you to be able to kick ass at it and do it the way you want to do it.
No, and I feel like, so I was powerlifting before I had this job, but I was working at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and I remember I walked out of that job. Like I was like, it was just a situation where like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's
I've rented a car or two from them in my day.
Oh, dude, those poor souls that rented you the car. They work for like, they look to get people right out of college that either played sports or like.
Actually, now that you say it, I don't know if I've ever rented a car from someone in my life that's over the age of like 24.
Dude, they get the young people because they don't know anything. They'll work you 65 hours a week, 6 days a week. For like but they're throwing $15 an hour at you right out of college. So you're like gold mine, but it's you're in like that suit and tie deal. You're washing cars, you're renting cars. in this like monkey suit, and it's like I'm in Florida, so it's like 100 degrees outside. I'm 300 pounds. I sweat in the AC, so it's like outside. I'm wearing this white thing. I'm looking gross. I mean, it's
drenched.
I did that for about 6 months, and I walked out, and I had done a couple other like jobs before that. You know, I don't know if you guys know what 1-800-GOT-JUNK is, but it's like you're a glorified trash man basically, and like bouncer, you know, trainer and stuff. So I've done all these manual labor jobs while I was powerlifting. And I was like, this is not conducive. Got into the office with my uncle was working there. He got me the gig at Progressive that I'm at with now. And I mean, it's done nothing but like enhance my powerlifting. So like, at that point, I mean, the goal was to work from home, and then, you know, from there, just all kind of snowballs, but it definitely allows me to just prioritize that 100% for sure.
Yeah. So Progressive is Flow, like you said. Who's the caveman? Is the
Geico?
Oh, dude,
Geico.
Yeah,
Geico's also.
They're the number one in the market.
Are they?
Okay.
So yeah.
I'm just Flow's pretty well known though too.
Yeah,
like is Progressive just Flow then? Is Progressive anything else? Who's Mayhem? Like the guy
State Farm.
Oh, dude.
Okay, that's State. Oh,
Isn't
and
that
State
like-
Farm.
No, that's Allstate. That's Allstate. Allstate.
Yeah.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
And Jake from State Farm.
Yes.
State Farm. Isn't that like, I feel like that's almost like the ploy for like insurance companies is like, no one's going to just want like a boring, like,
It's all marketing.
It is all
It's all the
marketing.
same because it must all be the same thing. So the only
but they're like
differentiator is the
the
marketing.
craziest thing that stick in your head, but you almost like know them more than the actual company. It's like we all know Jake, but it's like State Farm.
Yeah.
that was like car insurance, wasn't it? Like,
yeah. Okay, so Flow's kind of annoying though. Have you ever seen Flow at the office at all? Or you work from home, so you would.
So when I worked in the office, it was kind of creepy. Like we would have like TVs all over, and it would just constantly play like different Flow commercials. Like it was like Flow brainwash. Like they would give out like Flow swag. Like everyone was wearing like Flow t-shirts and it sounds
I wonder
like
how much money that
I was
woman
gonna say, it's
makes.
crazy though. Like she went from being just like some lady that was trying to get gigs in commercials and random shit, and all of a sudden they're like, you're gonna
Set
be
for life on
the
royalties.
face of our insurance company, and then it just stuck for years. And yeah, she's had to make
Like that
so much
woman
money
would be
off that.
famous to the point she can't go out in public and not have everyone know who she is.
Think about the chick that sold her voice to be Siri. You can never talk anywhere without someone being like, do I know?
Yeah.
You sound familiar.
Yeah.
Like,
Why do you sound like a robot?
why do you sound like a robot?
So are you a cat dad?
Dude, I am a cat dad, 100%.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like bro science. I feel like cats lower blood pressure. That might be a Snapple fact, but
How many cats are we talking here?
So right now I have 2. I've had up to 4 at one point.
Oh man.
Yeah. And dude, they're just like, I feel like I wasn't always a cat guy, and then like I just, you know, I had 1, I had 2, and then, you know, it just kind of snowballs from there. But that's definitely they're definitely my deal for sure. Like I got one little cat, Goonie, she's like 9 pounds, and I got another one that's my girlfriend's, Tim, and those are like my kids, man. So
have you ever had any like wild breeds of cats? You know, like there's some cats that are like huge and like almost like bobcats, and
a Maine
that sort of
Coon
thing.
I feel like would be like my goal cat, like for the next one, but like it never works like that. Like you're like, oh, the next cat I want to get, and then you like find one by like a dog,
well,
and you're like, I'll keep this one instead.
And then it lives for like 14 years.
Yeah, like there's those Maine Coons, and then there's the Bengals, dude, and those are like I'm like lions. Like they kind of, I'm a cat guy, and those kind of scare me. Like they're like very
kill you in your sleep.
I did read a thing, or no, wait, no. This I should fact check what I'm saying here. I heard this on the Joe Rogan podcast. Some guest that was on there, but it seemed to be somebody that maybe knew what they're talking about. But it was talking about that if you die at home, like you die in your sleep or something like that, a cat will eat your head off of your body in like less than 24 hours of you dying.
What? Really?
I've heard eyelids, but head sounds cooler.
Yeah, like we'll eat like your face off.
Like the second they realize you're unresponsive, they're just like, I'm going
within
in.
like hours of you dying, and they will eat you.
I feel like there's like a bunch of like cat
that might all be a lie also, but
they like perceive you as like they're like your servants. Like they feed them, like you clean up their poop, like you just pet them whenever, like they perceive themselves to be like the dominant thing in the house. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
There's a bunch of goofy cat stuff like that. I'll buy it.
I actually like cats. The only thing I don't like about cats is cleaning the litter box. Probably that would.
As you say that, our litter box is right there. I'll grab the one cat if he comes over. He just got done probably.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I've always liked cats. For what happened to me though was somewhere in my early 20s, I got crazy allergic, and I don't know. It was just like
it
one
wasn't
day.
until later in life too.
Yeah, we were at a buddy's house. We're sitting there. I'm chilling with the cat, and some friends are like, "Whoa, what happened to your face?" I'm like, "What are you talking about, guys?" And my eyes were almost just like shut. And ever since then, that was like the day something changed. So I got to kind of keep my distance now.
What is it? Benadryl? That's like
it is. Yeah, you got to
like get you through. Mm-hmm. That's like the lifesaver.
It is.
So how do you feel about dogs?
Oh, dude, I'm cool with dogs. I was lucky enough to have like a bunch of roommates in college that had dogs. So like I got to play with the dogs and like chill with the dogs. But then like if the dog like shit on the floor, like you needed to go for a walk, like I was just like, hands off at that point. So
dogs are way more maintenance.
I feel like dogs are kind of like a cat is kind of like, like they don't always give you attention. So it's like you have to work for it a little bit. So you feel like, oh, like I've earned this when they finally kind of warm up to you. A dog will just always love you. Like you could like be so mean to the dog and like
a dog feels to me like Tanner and I both have little children running around, and a dog to me feels about like a 2-year-old. Like they just always want to play with you. It doesn't matter what's happening. Like they're just on you all the time, needing something from you. And it's a ton of fun, but they always need something.
I like this. If you take your dog and your wife, and you lock them both in the trunk of your car for an hour. When you unlock the trunk, your dog's going to be happy to see you.
Your wife's not doing. I feel like that was the West Side versus the World, man.
Is that what that's? I don't actually even know what that's from. Is that what that might be what that's from? Is that?
Dude, that guy should have a book just of straight quotes, man.
Yeah, is that like, from Louis? West Side versus the World plays at Massenomics Gym on repeat all the time, so that might be burned into my like subconscious or something.
Bro.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
I think that is Louis Simmons, isn't it? Yeah,
because he was talking about the pit bulls at the gym.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's right. Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah,
that's funny.
Are you going to be at the Arnold this year?
Dude, I'm not. So I was potentially going to be lifting in the cage.
Yeah, that's what I wondered.
Which is a huge deal. But then I had the competition I just did in December and didn't go exactly how I want. I definitely feel like at the competition, I felt strong. I felt good. I wasn't banged up. I just wasn't able to execute the way I wanted to. And then I'm going to be doing the Ghost Clash in Miami in April, which is like 8 weeks away right now. So it would have been kind of like right in the middle of those. I didn't really want to mess with the peak too much. There's a good chunk of money that's going to be on the line in Miami too. So I figured, we're going back to like the adult thing. Like it's probably more responsible to sit there and just kind of go through prep, have a better shot at the money. And, if I'm able to lift in the cage again at some point, I mean, that would be really dope. But I feel like just like being at the Arnold itself, dude, like I have FOMO every year. I always watch the live streams. The strongman show, dude, is like this year, that strongman lineup is the sickest lineup. 5 former world's strongest man in the same, within the last 6 years, all those guys won at some point. You know what I mean? So it's like the who's who. All the powerlifting events are super sick. They're bringing the cage back. You guys,
the cage is big. Yeah.
I get FOMO every year, so I wish I was going, but not this year.
Okay. We've got the Tommy. Should we do overrated, underrated? Are you good for that? So we've got this little game we play with everyone that's on the podcast. It's overrated, underrated, and we got a special Big Shane Haller set of topics here that are handpicked just for you. We'll shoot them over to you, and it's just your job to decide if each one is overrated or underrated. But you have to remember, you can't ride the line. You have to decide. You have to pick a side on each one.
51%, 49% kind of deal.
Yeah. Okay, so overrated or underrated carpeted platforms?
I'm going to say underrated, dude, for sure. So if I'm squatting in a monolift, I don't want my feet to move. I feel like if I'm digging my feet in there, especially being wide, that locks me in. Bench, it definitely locks me in. If you're benching, the worst thing that could happen is you take that bar out and your feet just go, whoop, it's just a half inch. You know what I mean? It's mentally you're just oh, just rack it. You know what I mean? Fuck.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna say underrated for sure. Those need to be utilized a little more.
So have you done meets where they haven't been, or because actually, to tell you the truth, Big Jordan, this was an idea from Big Jordan. So
yeah, so he put on the competition the last one I did, and
so was it in Port Charlotte or?
Yeah, in Port Charlotte.
Okay.
And it was kind of nice because it was like initially I was talking to somebody, Trevor Jaffe, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to use a normal deadlift bar or a kabuki deadlift bar at this competition coming up?" And I was just like, "So I don't know. I guess I haven't used a kabuki. We could use a kabuki." And so Jordan got a kabuki, or we're gonna use a kabuki bar at the meet. I was like, "Dope." And then I was talking. I was like, "Are we gonna have a carpet platform at the competition?" I was like, "Because the last one I did in Texas, they just had like the horse stall mats, and my feet kind of slipped." And he's like, "Yeah, we can do that." So he literally had a carpeted platform like built for the competition, and then so it was like getting curtailed. You know what I mean? It was like whatever I wanted there. And then my gym doesn't have a kabuki deadlift bar, but I really wanted to practice on it like the entirety of the prep to really kind of game it, because if you game it properly, you absolutely get pounds out of that bar. But if you don't know how to game it, it's almost worse. Like it hurts you more than anything else. So you really want to kind of get the timing down. And so I was going to a different gym to use one, and I asked him, "Are you going to have a kabuki bar in the warm up room for us?" And he goes, "Well, no, I just have the one for the platform." I was like, "Okay, well, I'll just bring my own." So he buys another bar for the warm up room, another kabuki bar, and that one was brand new, and that's what we used on the platform. And then actually after the competition, I had one best lifter, and I told him, I was like, "Hey, can I just buy this bar from you? It's brand new."
Yeah.
Give you back some of my competition money here, and so I got the bar from him too. So he was the best meet director. He definitely helped your boy out.
Big Jordan knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah.
He does.
Yeah. Okay. Overrated or underrated? You did some college wrestling. So overrated or underrated Greco-Roman wrestling?
Dude, underrated. It's definitely it's not huge in America, but like internationally, like my college coach was a big Greco guy, and he used to joke, he was like, "Real men do Greco," because it's like you can't do any. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like wrestling, but it's like there's no anything from the waist down you can't touch. So like you can't take any shots, can't grab their legs. So it's literally just all upper body pummeling, head throws. I mean, you're clubbing each other. I mean, you knock the fuck out of each other in Greco. And anything like as far as like cool like throws and stuff, like those dudes, like they're doing like Kurt Angle basically, like belly to belly. It's like legit, you know what I mean? They're getting gut wrenches, and I mean they basically power bomb people on their heads and stuff. I never did Greco, but like you just respect those guys. It's like you just look at them, they look just like, you know, just beat the fuck up. You know what I mean? They got the big cauliflower ears, and they're just stumpy, you know, big yoked up dudes. So I'd have to say underrated, because not enough people do that. It's pretty hardcore.
Would you, when you were a wrestler, would you describe your style? Were you a guy that liked to throw guys, or were you taking shots? Like what did you like to do?
So I was a heavyweight, but I was a light heavyweight, if you can go figure on that. So I was probably only about 230, 235 when I wrestled in college. And so I was giving up about 50 pounds on most of the guys. And again, I'm tall, so like I was just a big kind of lanky guy. And so I would do a lot of shots, you know, like kind of sweep singles and stuff, kind of got on the outside. And in high school, I pinned a lot more people, but in college, it's a lot tougher because everybody was good in high school.
Yep.
So I would kind of win a lot of matches on like 1 or 2 points. I'd get ahead up early, and I just kind of not do shit for the rest of the match. So
well, college has the riding time thing, which is weird too.
Well, I loved it, because it was like, even if I get a takedown and I ride you out long enough to get that point, you escape. So it's 2-1. You start on bottom, you get up, it's 2-2. If I just ride it out the whole time, then I get that extra point at the end, 3-2, winner, chicken dinner. So that's how I would kind of try and to win those matches long game.
Yeah. That is a little different strategy than high school for sure, though, when you got that in the back of your mind.
Okay, overrated or underrated sheesh?
I'm going to say sheesh is underrated. That is my all-in-one utility word for anything.
So tell us what sheesh is.
Have you guys ever seen? You guys watch The Office, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's such an indiscriminate line where like Pam tells Michael, no sheesh. Because he always he just says sheesh. And it's like, if somebody says something to me where I'm just like, I feel awkward because they said it, I'm just like, sheesh. If somebody says something to me that I don't really know how to respond, sheesh. Somebody does something cool, sheesh. Like, it's just an all around killer word. And I had some buddies in college. We all used to say sheesh. And it was like, you would just like, if you would say so B, like a beard would be like beesh. If we would be weesh, you know what I mean? Like, so sheesh, weesh, beesh.
Yeah.
You know? So we just got it's like, it makes sense when you're in college with all your friends that used to say,
I can wrap my head around it. Yeah.
It's like you're speaking a foreign language. Everyone's like, this guy just says sheesh all the time. That's weird. But kind of stayed with me.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
I like that. That's good. Okay. Last one. This one's worth all the marbles. So overrated or underrated neck fans?
Underrated. I have a fan right next to me right here, dude. Cool at all times. So like my girlfriend is amazing, and she got that for me when we first started dating, when I was getting ready for a competition in Miami. And dude, people thought, I feel like I kind of looked kind of like a tool. Like people thought it was like my beats or something like that. But I was like, I was too cool to even like wear the beats. Like I have them so loud, I just have them around my neck.
Yeah.
And then someone would say something to me. I'm like, oh no, this is actually a fan. And I put it on their neck, and they're like, oh my God. And it's like, it's perfect. Because like I said, I'm big, like I'm going to be sweaty. And especially at that meet, it was so hot in this gym. And it was like, everybody was bitching about how hot it is, and they're sweaty, this, that, whatever.
What? And this was in Miami, or?
And this was in Miami.
Yeah.
And it was just,
like
it
Will
was
Smith said. Yeah.
Huh?
Will Smith said, "Party in the city where the heat's on." You know.
Dude, it was muggy and it was hot, man, and everyone's complaining, and I was sitting cool, no pun intended. I mean, it's definitely if you control your situation, that's the biggest thing. Make sure you're set up to make sure you can control your situation wherever you're going to be at.
I like that, Tanner. I think for our meet in the summer, we need to have a little neck fan booth selling some neck fans out.
Yeah.
I think the only thing more underrated than a neck fan would be those Mr. neck fans. You've guys like seen those at like at like theme parks where it's just a big fan, and it just sprays like misted.
Right.
I can get like 3 of those in the back room. I mean, that would be probably just like chef's kiss.
Yes.
Good news.
Oh, no,
looks like
we're going to add a bonus one in. You get a bonus
bonus
one.
topic. Excellent.
Bonus.
Yeah.
Not everyone gets a bonus.
Yeah.
Your bonus. Overrated or underrated? Nick from Live Large.
Oh, dude, Nick is super underrated. That guy is the man. I think I gave underrated for everything. I love all the answers you guys said. Nick is super. He's the man, dude, and makes the best pizza.
We still haven't got to try it.
We still haven't
yet.
got to have the pizza. Yeah, we're
every year at the Arnold, our booth.
So when have you gotten the pizza?
I've never gotten the pizza. I've just seen the pizza.
Yeah, it just looks really freaking good. Yeah.
Yes.
Like if you look up like the best like Yelp reviews of pizza, it's like his is like the gourmet stuff you would see like all fine like.
Yes.
And I remember I was talking to him about just like what makes a good pizza, like all the like, you know what I mean, and like he was talking about just the different, you know, the doughs and everything else like that, and just like I was like, if you're gonna judge like a place on how good their pizza is, like what kind of slice are you gonna get? He goes, pepperoni.
Dude, that's what he told us too. He told us you got to get a cheese or a pepperoni, because you get the other crazy stuff. You can mask things, hide all that. But he goes, the cheese and the pepperoni is where you actually find out what the ingredients are like.
I've told a lot of people, I've used that I've explained that to a lot of people before, like in my life, since he's told us that. Like that makes perfect sense to me when he explained it to us that way.
Isn't it such like a Yoda thing to say? It's like,
totally.
If you want to do good pizza, you must start with basics. What is your cheese like?
Yeah.
Yep. You can't hide behind all that crazy shit when you got cheese, sauce, and crust. Like it's like, the ingredients are all out there.
Yeah. He's like, if you're going to make a t-shirt, you got to first be able to make a black t-shirt with white lettering on it with your name. If you can't make that t-shirt, you can't make a t-shirt. Yeah, Nick's got some cool cars too.
Dude, Nick is like cool cars, pizza. He's always in Hawaii. That guy lives up.
Yeah. What the hell?
Just living the life, man. No, we always do look forward to at the Arnold. You know, our booths are always just a couple apart, and catching up with Nick, and he usually keeps us fed quite a bit, Tanner. He's always like coming over with
he's always got donuts and all this
all this crazy food. He just has it.
Anytime we do like a travel meet, like he's usually like the go-to person. Like he knows like where like a good spot to be. Like if we're gonna be in like Miami, like he would figure out like where the good spots to get food would be at. If we're in Kansas City, like you got to go here, you got to check this spot out. Like he is a super foodie. Like he's on top of that.
He's never stressed about anything. I'm always like, oh, we got a lot of shit to do, man. And he's like, it all works out. You know, I'm like, fuck, man, I'm worried about this shit.
Yeah.
It doesn't ever seem worried.
He's got to figure it out.
Phased by anything. Yeah.
Well, this is going to be the 10-year anniversary for them too at the Arnold.
Yeah,
I saw
They're
that.
probably going to be doing it big, whatever they are going to be doing. So.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, well, we'll hold down the fort there with them for you since you won't be there. But all right. No, this was awesome. We had a lot of fun. This is a good episode. I mean, people check you out on Instagram, right? That would be the number one. That's where I followed you. I mean, is that where you would tell people if they?
Yeah.
Also, I think you have some ebooks out too on.
Yep, on my page now. I just came out with 2 ebooks. It's a 5-week template program and a 12-week template program. And I feel like when people like you hear that, you're just kind of like, oh, it's just the 5 weeks or it's just the 12 weeks. Like it's probably like a 40-page book for the 12-week and like probably around 30 for the 5. And it's a really in-depth, thing as far as just the kind of training philosophy, different workout exercises. It has a whole video library with different exercises and warm-ups and everything. And, pretty comprehensive programs in there as well too. So I've been doing those and then looking to probably get into a little bit of coaching here after this meet, but we'll kind of test those waters out, slowly here.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll tell people to be on the lookout for that then. Do you get down to train with Jordan every once in a while then?
Yeah. So his gym's probably only about an hour and a half south of me. So he comes up to train with me on Saturdays and then I'll go down to train with him. We usually kind of are in the same meet preps. He's just coming back from that pec surgery right now. And I don't know if you guys have been following his progress with that dude, but it's like, it's crazy. So like Seth Albersworth, who is his coach, basically did the exact same injury and was back to benching like 315 within like, I don't know, like 4 months or something. Not like insane. And so like Jordan's basically on that same kind of track as he's just as obsessed and, wanting to get back to the gym.
Right.
And he's back like benching, I think like a plate almost now or something. I mean, it's crazy.
That's cool. All right. Well, you Florida men, keep it. We'll look for you in the newspapers and in the headlines then, and we'll be on the lookout for you.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot, Shane.
Awesome. Good stuff.
All right, boys.
See ya.
Cool beans.
Those are neck cooled fan beans right there.
Cooled with this.
Those have been sitting with a neck fan around them for the entire episode.
Yeah. That's good. Oh, that was good stuff right there.
That was great stuff. He was a lot of fun for a guy we've never talked to before. That was a lot of fun.
No, and also you look at Shane's Instagram. Shane has nothing but lifting on his Instagram.
That's what we were talking before this. We're like, man, usually with people we try to find a few threads of something that isn't lifting related that we can pull on, and his Instagram is very focused. But we were still able to have lots of fun with him and find out a bunch of non-lifting related things.
Yes, that was really good. Another note on the Arnold, since we were talking about it. Or wait, maybe you need to read it.
Yeah, I better read it now.
Yeah, that's a teaser then. A note on the Arnold after that.
Oof, this episode is just full of teasers.
Yeah.
Today's episode is also brought to you by Swisslink. Since 1995, Swisslink has been importing military-issue goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. Swisslink.com carries all that you can imagine, from British tactical vests to Italian Navy deck shoes and everything in between. Swisslink is also home to authentic Wavian fuel cans. They're from the same factory that makes the so-called jerry cans for the NATO forces since the 1940s. Made from 0.9 millimeter cold-rolled steel, Wavians are the highest quality gas cans on the market. Big Mo has since decided that a high-quality water can was needed as well, so Swisslink developed a stainless steel water can to match. It fits all your Wavian jerry can holders and is made from food-grade 304 stainless steel, so you can trust it to carry drinking water. The cap is knurled for a good grip, and the spout screws into the bottom of the cap for convenient storage. A vent at the top ensures a good flow, and the can has the same 3-handle configuration as its fuel counterpart. This is another addition to Swisslink's exceptional collection and their dedication to quality customer service that distinguishes them from the rest. Enjoy a 15% discount on your next purchase at Swisslink.com by entering code MASS, M-A-S-S, at checkout. At Swisslink.com, code MASS will save you 15%. Thank you, Swisslink.
Thanks, Swisslink. Yesterday, Huck Finn had texted me, asked me a question. I forgot to respond. I responded to him just before we started recording here tonight. And then his answer back to that was, we talked about you guys on our podcast. So I assume they're recording tonight.
Which they always do, right? That doesn't really
matter. Right. But so they're recording a podcast tonight. He goes, we talked about, they do talk. We do come up often on there. That's what you're saying. And I just responded back, we are recording tonight too. Now I'm going to make sure we talk about you on our podcast. And my question for you, Tommy, is what do you think it is that they said about us on their podcast?
Okay.
Probably something.
It usually starts like this. North Dakota, South Dakota. What are those guys doing up there? The one, Kenny G with the long hair, and the other guy with his beard, Tanner Tommy. I don't know.
And then they'll say, "Oh, I thought they broke up. One of them moved. One of them moved to North Dakota. The other one moved to South Dakota, and now they're. So I don't know. Are they even still doing that podcast anymore? Or?
Massenomics, whatever they're doing. So that's what that led into. Whatever they just said, I can almost guarantee you they said all of those things right there, or some combination of those. And then now we're at the point where they were going to say what they're going to say, and that's what I'm not totally sure of what it is.
Yeah,
probably like, we're getting the booth ready. And I got to ask the Massenomics guys because they've done it a few times. And
they've been talking about them working on their video recording for the podcast. That's what I think, because the question was slightly related to that.
And see, I bet it's
going to be like Tom's going to,
want to know
Tom
some
Finn
settings.
is going to say something about what we do.
Yeah.
He's going to tell, he's like, well, these guys are doing that. He's going to tell
probably.
Tom,
and I'm about a month behind. I've been really bad at listening to podcasts. I usually keep up on Let's Get Stupid, but I am just a touch behind right now. So I have seen him posting things on Instagram that they have been upgrading some
North
items.
Dakota. Huck did say the other day that he wants to do a meet, and he mentioned that the Massenomics Lift Hard Leave Easy Classic is on his radar.
I was going to ask you because he had a post. It's funny because I called you right after this, and this is what I was going to talk to you about, and we talked about something else. It happens a lot, but he had a post, him benching. He said, "I'm going to be the first guy to bench over 500 pounds." I like how I'm doing this voice. I'm reading his Instagram caption, but I'm doing this voice right now. But I'm going to be the first guy to bench over 500 pounds with 2 reattached pec tendons. And he said, I'm doing and then someone goes, "Oh, when are you doing it?" And he goes, in the comments, I think he said, "I'm doing a meet this summer." And I thought, did he commit to Did he tell Tanner this?
He's not committed to it yet, but it's, I think it's like, the one of maybe 2 that he's thinking about doing. I mean,
they would have all of them would have the absolute time of their life at that meet.
Oh, if we could get Finn, Callis, really any combination, Cam or White George Foreman, any of those guys, any of the they would have Jacob Ross.
Yep.
Like if those guys drove here together,
they would have the best time.
And if they came, and I don't care which of them are competing and which are just hanging out, if they came to the Friday night party, they came to the meet and the Saturday night party, they would leave. I promise this. I hope one of them's listening to this, and someone send them this sound clip. Keith or someone
Lou,
send them this. Lou. They would leave saying that was the funnest meet we've ever went to, and I almost feel like they could take that to the bank. That they would say, holy shit, did they make that for us?
Aberdeen, small town America, man, they're all about that. They would just be, they wouldn't miss a beat.
They would honestly leave thinking, oh my God, we can't do any other meets anymore. I don't, like
that's it. Their career's done. Went out with a bang.
Yes. Don't you think it's like we made this for them? Almost.
I can't think of anything that's more
like
on brand for them.
50% party, 50% meet, and it's not just them doing the 50-50.
Everyone is on that.
Everybody
same page,
here that's on doing. That's going to be 150.
Like, everyone there's doing the same thing. They're just there to have a good time. Yeah, they'd have the time of their lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everyone there would be super jacked to see them too.
Yes.
You go to another meet. I mean, there's just random people there, whatever. But everyone there would know who they are and be genuinely excited to see them.
And if Finn goes for a 500-pound bench and gets it, there's no meet he's going to do that he's going to get
a reaction like
comparable fanfare to what will happen
between
here at this
the
meet.
competitors and the fan, because the fans will get the crowd will get
and
hyped
Gino.
up too. Yes.
Like we'll get Gino going on it. You know, we've got the announcer. I talked to Gino this week.
Yeah,
and that was
we
my
didn't talk
update
about that either. Yeah,
he's just
like, did you just call him out of the blue, or
no? He called me, and he just wanted to just talk a little bit about the meet and stuff. And he's very excited about it, but. We talked about the Arnold a little bit, and the USAPL meet is happening. The USAPL meet now is going to be in the convention center.
That should be pretty cool, shouldn't it?
Yeah, that's as far as I'm concerned, that's great because we might catch a little bit of it that way.
I think it's on the opposite end of us, though, isn't it?
Okay, then
I thought I saw. I think Meg Squats had a post on Instagram talking about it, and it was the far. When you walk in, we're on the right side. I think it's on the far left side is where it's.
I don't like that far left side.
I know we don't get over there ever.
No,
that's like the other side of the world as far as we're concerned.
Efforting the cooler booth was on the far left side once, like 5 years ago.
It was
felt so far away.
Cooler.
Yeah, a cooler within a cooler. I think that's why the cooler went defunct because he chose to have his booth on the far left side.
Yep, that did it.
Do not go over there. That's no man's land. Okay.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing looking at our list here, Tanner, because we started this episode with like 6 things on it, and I don't think we've touched any of these 6 things that were on our list.
Yeah, we really haven't much, have we?
No, we have not.
We did. I guess we talked about the Arnold a little bit there, but I didn't. We're gearing up pretty hard for the Arnold right now. We got some fun things coming. I think we've got 3 shirts that we're kind of gonna unveil at the Arnold. Not all together. It's 3 shirts that are not on our. Well. Maybe even like 4 that aren't on our website right now.
It might be 4
that aren't on our website. We've got some special Arnold stuff, including a sticker that I just love. It's like the most meaningless thing that I love right now is that Arnold sticker. And we're working on that stuff though, right? We're getting things together.
Always working over here.
Yeah, 3 weeks out. You really can't hold anything back at this point in time. Then, of note, speaking of conventions and things like that, nothing official yet, but I would just say it's worth mentioning. We talked about it a little. Who did we have on last week? Kurt Locker. So it was last week. We did broach the subject last week that Massenomics could go to Home Gym Con, and we don't have an announcement to make on that yet.
But let's just say we've been putting some pencil to paper over here.
Yeah. And I would say it is definitely possible that you could be seeing Massenomics. It's definitely possible that you could be seeing Massenomics at Home Gym Con in some capacity. To be continued on that, though, right?
Yes.
Right. It's definitely a possibility.
Get ahead of ourselves. We got the Arnold to get through first here.
Ain't that the truth? Talk about putting the cart before the horse. Sheesh. I like sheesh.
That's good.
Do we want to talk about these USAPL qualifying totals?
Maybe we can that one's not a super big. I think we can talk about that. We can save the other one.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll go into way in depth of this because it's not our bag, baby. But I would say that the USAPL for 2025, they significantly increased the qualifying totals for nationals. And overall, that seems like a good thing to me. That just makes sense, doesn't
I think now when I look at the numbers, to me, this is where a national level competition should be.
Right.
And nationals does depend a lot on what your definition of a national level competition is. Is a national level competition just let everyone in the nation compete? Or is it, no, this is a exclusive event meant for the top people in the nation? And to me, that's what it feels like a national level event should be. It is an event to get the best in the nation together. And when the totals are really low, you're not getting the best in the nation together. You're just getting everyone in the nation together.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Do you have the numbers on hand, Tanner?
I do. Here's one, for example, the 100 kilo. I'm not going to go through all of them because they're in kilos, and I'm not going to do the math on all of them. But 100 kilogram class, which is the 220 class, that'd be a good one to reference. The qualifying total now for that is 1,819 pounds. So that's a big number.
That is a big number.
That's definitely going to separate.
But
it used to be. It
used to be like, was it 1,500 or something like that? It used to be insanely low.
Right. Oh, for sure.
Like to the point where it just felt like I was just like one good training year away from qualifying, and I'm like, I'm not an elite lifter at all. Why would I be a national level competitor? That doesn't make any sense to me.
The 242 class isn't much higher. It's 1835 for the total. The 275 class is 1852.
Wow.
I'll just
so that
jump
220
to the
is
super.
pretty stout
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, the 220, I guess, is a big line in the sand, sort of. But the super heavyweight is 1881, almost 1,900 pounds. Let me just look at one lighter one. The 181 class is 1758.
Okay. So yeah,
So it's,
you
I mean,
gotta
it's
be
big
lifting-
numbers.
Yeah, you got to be lifting 17 plus to really be showing up. I have no problem with that. I think that makes total sense. To me, that is an exclusive event. That is for the top tier people. Let the top tier people be there.
So there is no sub-masters, so that kind of screws me. There's masters, which I'm getting pretty close to. What would my masters number? Let's just, am I 242 or that's the question now. Am I 242 or 275? But
Yeah,
let's
you're
just
in
say,
no man's land right now.
yeah, let's just say I was 275. That's 700 kilos.
About
1544.
Yeah.
So I could make nationals as a masters.
All right.
Not as an open.
Road to nationals starts now.
I could. Yep. Not shooting for it, but I just purely curious. Like I
Just
cannot,
hypothetically, if a guy were to train seriously.
right? I could not make the open. Like the total is, like I've done like
Intense.
1,700. The total is like 150 pounds more than my best ever. But for the masters, the total is like 200 pounds less than my best ever almost. So that seems possible.
Golden.
So there's still hope. I just got to play the waiting game.
Longevity,
Not that
baby.
Yep. So, yeah, I think that's appropriate for those to go up, though, right?
Totally. No complaints here. All for it.
Totally.
Totally. I got to give credit here, Tanner. I just saw this name on our list. It just reminded me it. Daniel McKim always has lots of very funny skits. If you don't follow him, make sure to check those out. But he had one about 75 hard, and it was hilarious. It just
75 hard when your grandpa takes Viagra.
yeah. But I got to give him props. That 75 hard skit he had made me laugh very, very hard, and it was so relevant to what is going on with people at this time right now.
Would you say it made you laugh 75 hard?
Well, I wasn't laughing twice a day outside, so I don't know if it was really if I was laughing that hard.
So yeah, 75 hard is what? That's Andy Frisella.
I believe so, yes.
And it's like just doing shit for 75 straight days,
just
or
mental toughness. Which I would also say your
maybe
75
there's some
hard,
people this helps.
Your 75 hard is handicapped significantly by where you live. Like people that live in the South, their 75 hard is like, no, that's just life. That's easy. You live around here, your 75 hard is so goddamn hard. It's not even, you're not even playing the same game as everyone else.
Over the last month, the month prior that we experienced it, just wouldn't even be safe.
No, it actually wouldn't be.
Because what were you supposed to do outside?
Are you supposed to do, is it 2 workouts a day and one of them has to be outside for a minimum of 10 minutes? I mean, if it's 30 minutes, that's not even doable.
I don't even know if it would have been safe to be outside for. No, it wouldn't have been safe.
You
to
actually
be outside
are
for
an
30
idiot
minutes.
if you're doing that,
right?
Especially for an online challenge.
Yeah, some nice weather we've been having lately, though.
Oh God,
it was like 50-some degrees.
Yeah, it was really windy today, but still 50 degrees in beginning of February. That's unheard of. Our snow just disappeared in the last 2 weeks here.
It's been it's felt like I've never lived in Seattle, but the last week has felt like I lived in Seattle because
you've just been
I don't know if it ever rained, but the road was wet for 5 days in a row.
Oh, your car
why is it
just
so wet?
filthy. Actually, when I drove to Aberdeen, I had to stop. I started my journey in Sioux Falls. I had to stop at a gas station right away and clean my headlights off because they were so caked with dirty, muddy water that I couldn't see it. It was bad.
It's really filthy right now. It's
Everything's very filthy. Could use a real town makeover right now. Everything's very dirty.
And the gross, what's the remnants of snow piles that are around?
People don't realize the remnants of snow piles are just mud and dirt. Yeah, what's wet dirt? It's
just
mud.
Dirt piles. It's like, how is there so much dirt in that snow pile?
Just everywhere. Well, and also when the roads get bad, people throw dirt on the roads. They throw gravel on the roads, so you just have more gravel around. It's just it's a muddy mess. But it has been nice enough now for a while that it is starting to come around that it's not quite as messy, I feel like.
Right. Well, I mean, we don't have any snow left in our yard or anything like that. It's hopefully it doesn't snow anymore this year.
Oh God, that'd be nice.
That would be
just get us through the Arnold with no issues.
That's honestly what I just hope. Like I just don't want it to be like a blizzard on the Arnold weekend. And
no.
Like let us get south and east far enough. Like,
dude, I remember every year
it can even snow after the Arnold.
Yeah, I don't care. Let it snow after the
home.
Arnold. It's gone and it's gone in a couple days.
Right.
Actually, all the other years we'd go to the Arnold. There'd be one day it'd be 50 there. You'd be like, "Whoa, 50 degrees! I haven't felt this in 6 months." And here we are, February in South Dakota, feeling 50 degrees.
Was it really icy when we drove last year at the beginning of the trip?
It was. Remember, just east of Sioux City.
I remember.
It was.
You mean when my
perfectly
heart
sunny day
exploded out of my
and all of a sudden the entire vehicle's going sideways and what's going on here? Yeah, that wasn't fun.
Yeah. I remember that. I nearly shat my pants.
Yeah, and then we thought it was good, and then about a mile later, it did the same thing.
And I'm like, oh, nope, not good.
Yeah,
not good at all.
And then that semi's flying by us. I'm like, how are you going?
How
this
are they
fast?
doing? I mean, I guess I get how you're doing it. You just don't give a shit. You're just like,
got places to go.
Yeah. You know what else we've got to go to do? Build Fast Formula supplements. I wasn't sure how to make the transition, so
that was pretty seamless.
I just did it.
Quite seamless.
I just said I'm doing it. So check out buildfastformula.com. It's the supplements that we use. I actually might need to order some more protein, some 80-20 protein. I'm in need of. Yep. So I'm going to get some 80-20 protein. That is their protein blend, their blend of casein and whey protein. What flavors does theirs come in? I just get chocolate, but what do they call it? I get chocolate lava cake, which is great tasting, but they also have vanilla ice cream. I don't know, seems kind of boring. I wouldn't pick the vanilla. Wouldn't be my recommendation. The chocolate, I would go with the chocolate. They also have Cinnadoodle Crunch. Oh, I'm intrigued by that. And peanut butter chocolate, that would also be good. Mm-hmm. What would be your favorite out of those four, Tommy?
I'm kind of a chocolate guy.
Yeah.
I like peanut
chocolate,
butter, but I don't really
powder.
like peanut butter in my drinks as much.
Yeah. You just never go wrong with chocolate.
It's hard to beat.
Powder.
And you're right. Vanilla's a little too boring.
Yep. It probably tastes good, but
I'm sure it's good, but I need a little more excitement in my life.
Yeah. So chocolate is the excitement. And then they also, of course, they have their pre-workout formulas, their drink hack, the Vaso Blitz, the Vaso Blitz. That is the Massenomics crew favorite. Make sure to go check out that dual nitric oxide support supplement. It's only $31. What am I looking at? Depends on what size you get. There's actually a few different sizes, a few different flavors and stuff here.
It's good.
It's good. It's a great supplement. Also flavors of that: Blue Raz Rampage, Legend of Lemon, Rainbow Razzle, Was Up Watermelon, Falcon Fruit Punch, and Rocket Power Pop. Check them all out at buildfastformula.com. Use discount code Massenomics to save on every single order that you order from there. And also, if you sign up for a subscription, you save an additional 10% along with our 10% discount. You can save 20%. Thanks, BuildFast.
And today's show is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid-70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, and world powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com.
Make sure to sign up to become a supporting member if you haven't already. The Line in the Sand is coming very soon. Get in. This is like almost your final warning, maybe your final warning. We don't know, but it's very close to your final warning either way. If you're an existing supporting member and you've been a supporting member for a while and you have had an address change, make sure to get that address change to us soon, because that mailing will be coming to you, and we want to get those sent to the right places. Send your postcards to my address. Like us on Instagram. Please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. The more reviews we get, the better. We're really trying to grow that number. We think maybe it helps something. We don't know what, but other people ask for it, so we ask for them too. And then like us, subscribe on YouTube.
Make sure to subscribe on. We got some I'm going to go on a limb here, Tanner. I don't do this often, but I'm going out on the limb right now. We might have our best stretch of videos we've ever made coming out. And actually, I'm going to say these are our best stretch of videos ever. I'll let the viewer be the judge on their end, but as far as I'm concerned, this is going to be our best stretch of videos ever.
Starting with one coming out tomorrow. That'll already be out, and then the one comes out the week that you're listening to this. We got another awesome one.
After that, and the week after that, and the week after that, we are on to something here. It's starting right now.
We always got to sell ourselves and sell the stuff that we're doing, so we always say stuff like that. But I think you're actually spot on. That
we have taken a new direction, or we've refined a direction we've used in the past. We kind of even said it's taken us like a year to figure out our formula.
This direction, and I think we got something going there that we've taken pieces and parts of ways we've done it before and like built that into what we're doing now, and I really
fun.
Like it.
They're fun to do. They're fun to watch. They feel natural. They feel effortless. I'm excited for this upcoming slate of videos.
Yeah. So that'll wrap us up this week. Maybe next week we'll talk about influencers that are running businesses. Where are they running them to? Into the ground at times.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Running them into the ground. Sheesh.
Sheesh. That and much more on episode 411 of the Massenomics podcast. Tommy, where do they find you at?
411. Amber is the color of my energy. Something like that, right?
Yeah.
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird, but just please, for God's sakes, make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.